Hi, it's Paul from CCA, and today we're going to discuss the changes in legislation made by the ATO, which now requires some industries who use subcontractors and independent contractors to have formal agreements in place in order to mitigate the potential liability and, of course, the tens of thousands of dollars that go along with that liability. So today we're going to discuss what are the changes made by the ATO, what are the potential costs of not having a formal agreement in place between yourselves and your subcontractors and independent contractors, and finally, what are the steps you can take to avoid those tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential liability. So stay with us. Now, before we get started, if by the time we get to the end of this video, you've appreciated the information that we shared with you, what I'm going to ask you to do is to share this video across your various social media platforms. The idea being that the more people that become aware of the potential issues around credit management, the better it is for all Australian businesses. Now, you may or may not be aware, but the ATO introduced legislation starting in the 2018-2019 financial year called TPAR, or Taxable Payments Annual Reports. It requires all businesses within certain industries to submit a yearly report outlining all payments they've made to independent contractors and subcontractors. The industries affected are industries building construction industry, commercial cleaning, road freight and transport, IT and security industry. So basically, any business in those industries are now required by law to submit all the TPAR report outlining all payments they made to independent contractors and subcontractors. Now, the big question begs, why all of a sudden are certain businesses now having to report the payments they've made to other businesses? So over the last couple of years, in talking to businesses about the TPAR requirements, we've been advising businesses that it's probably not a bad idea to formalise their agreement, and this applies no matter what the industry is to formalise the agreement between themselves and the independent contractors and subcontractors, because that way, if you formalise the agreement, there can't be any comeback on them as the head contractor. Now, fast forward that conversation to March of this year. Found a very interesting article that I need to bring to your attention that I think you might appreciate. Just let me bring up the other screen. Okay, here we are. Australian Taxation Office. Article published in March of this year. Contractors reminded to declare 172 billion of income. The Australian Taxation Office has revealed it is using data from the Taxable Payments Reporting System to ensure that more than 172 billion, that's 172 billion of payments to contractors, have been properly declared. The Assistant Commissioner Peter Holt said, because of the TPAR system, the ATO now has a clearer view than ever before of payments made to contractors in these industries. This data, combined with the sophisticated data analytics capabilities, means our field of vision to detect unreported income is better than ever. The ATO is using the data to proactively contact contractors to make sure they haven't forgotten to declare their reported income through the TPAR system. My point is, what do you think is going to happen when one of your independent contractors or one of your subcontractors gets a call from the ATO saying, hey, where's our money? I don't think it's going to be very long before you start hearing the phrase, oh, I thought I was employed, or I was wondering about that, I'm not really sure whether I'm classed as a independent contractor, or I'm not really sure whether I'm classed as a subcontractor. The next phone call is probably more than likely going to be yours. And hey, look, I don't want to add insult to injury, but I came across this and you really have to have a look at this. I just went back to the page Again, Australian Taxation Office, 172 billion. Go down to the bottom of the page. Oh, and the ACO also encourages the community to report suspected tax evasion, completing a tip-off form on our website. So I think you'll agree there's never been a better time to formalise a relationship with your independent contractors and subcontractors. All you need is one independent contract agreement or one subcontract agreement that you can use for all of your independent contractors and subcontractors. And the investment is nowhere near as much as you might think. If you spread your investment out over 6 or 12 months, it's going to cost you a couple $100 a month. Pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Now that pretty much brings us to a close. I understand you're probably going to have a few questions, which is just normal. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to click the Contact Us button below this video. We'll organise to give you a call, have a chat to you about your specific circumstances and what really applies for your business. If you've got existing documentation between yourselves and your independent contractors or subcontractors, then we can even review those for you. And that's at absolutely no obligation. But one thing I am going to ask you to do is, if you remember from the beginning of the video, if you found this information valuable and think there's other people that could benefit from hearing about it, I'm going to ask you to please share this across your various social media platforms. The more people who hear it, the better it is for everyone. But that's all from me. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a great day. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.